the biggest risk that you'll take is not taking a risk on yourself. And I know that Jordan will say this as well, but when we finally maxed out credit cards or liquidated our entire stock portfolio,
don't get it perfect, get it going. People feel like you have to be so perfect before you can show. You just got to get it going.
All right, you're listening to Hawke Talk. I'm here today with Josh Hoffman and Jordan Eubanks. How you guys doing?
fantastic.
I gotta imagine you guys obviously, I assume, born in different hospitals in different places, but you both got hit in the head, immediately said we need to work on helmets, and then it was just off to the races, right? Somehow found each other. Yeah, perfect. Josh, let's start with you. Where are you from originally?
Northeast Ohio. Grew up in a small kind of suburb of Warren, Youngstown area. Played basketball growing up. Went to a small liberal arts school south of Cleveland and played basketball there. And then right after that, felt the call to La La Land and moved out west to pursue a acting, waiting tables career. That's where I met Jordan.
Got it. And so, Jordan, to you, similar birth story, or where did it start?
Yeah, so Kinston, North Carolina, about an hour and 15, hour and 30 minutes east of Raleigh. High school there, grew up there till about 18, went to Appalachian State, played baseball for a year, quickly realized I kind of wanted to explore the entertainment industry, moved to New York. In New York, was on a TV show called Damage Control, got my start there, met one of my best friends, Brian Drolet, on that. We ended up moving to LA about a year later, getting a job at Geisha House in Hollywood.
I remember Geisha House. Were you both working there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. I remember.
It was nothing like Geisha
Was that,
House.
what's her name? Who owned it? What was her name?
It was the Dolce group, but it was a lot of the 70s show, the cast of the 70s show. And then you're probably talking about Shireen.
No, I'm talking about the girl from Desperate Housewives. Wasn't one of those girls involved? Ava Longoria, wasn't she involved in it?
Didn't she date JT? He dated a lot of people. He dated Paul Abdul.
Yeah. But to say all that, that area, if you know about that place, that area of Hollywood, Las Palmas, Cherokee, we were the last of that great era, in Hollywood.
I would say that was my late teens, early 20s days. That was a good time. So you guys met at Geisha House, and I guess what you guys were trying to work on the entertainment side while working there, or what was?
I moved out and signed with a commercial and theatrical talent agent and a manager, before I moved. My grandparents owned a radio station growing up, so my twin brother and I started doing commercials and on-air stuff when we were like 2. And fast forward 20 years later, and I was like, well, I think I could do this. And for a while I thought I wanted to be an attorney, but then I realized I just wanted to play one on TV.
You missed your era for Suits, huh?
One of my favorite shows, by the way. It's
great show. Though I gotta say, I hate to say it live, but LA didn't hit. I tried to watch a few episodes of LA and I couldn't get into it.
I haven't. I'm glad you said that, because now I'm not going to watch.
It felt like someone trying to remake Suits in LA. You know what I mean? It felt inauthentic in that sense. It's like we're trying to run the same formula that worked authentically the first time and not this time.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Yeah. People just don't want to try to be original. They just want to remake the same thing over and over and over again. It drives me crazy, especially with movies, television. It's frustrating.
I mean, to our TV show, I don't know if you know, we had a TV show on the air with Cedric the Entertainer. Hawke did.
No.
Really?
Yeah, on A&E and on Hulu. So we're in half the season. And we were basically helping them launch their barbecue brand. And when we got asked to do that, I thought that was going to be a game changer for and our business has done well. Don't get me wrong, but having a TV show on mainstream television, with what I've seen with Shark Tank, we've done a ton of Shark Tank brands, and I watched the effect of that. What we've seen with Pimp My Ride and what it did for gas, because I actually knew those guys. All these things were oh, this is going to be crazy for us. And the first episode goes on, and I didn't get a single Instagram message, phone call, text. And I'm like, what's going on here? I call the network and I'm like, hey, how many people watched the first episode? They're like, oh, it was great. We got 200,000 viewers. I'm like, I have a TikTok video with 69 million. What do you mean 200,000 viewers? Like, that's a good thing? And so it's just crazy how that whole industry, like they're wondering why people aren't watching this anymore. It's like, because there's nothing new or interesting. You're better off going onto social. It's
Right.
it's crazy how that's changed. So, all right. So you guys meet working at Geisha House. You were working on getting different gigs. Were you trying to play a lawyer on TV, or what was the pursuit, Josh?
No, I mean, I moved out there, just knew I wanted to, or thought that I wanted to act. And quickly,
Yeah.
you know how Los Angeles is. You get caught up just trying to keep your head above water. So,
Yeah.
working multiple jobs, long hours, going out afterwards. So in the Dolce group probably wasn't the most conducive atmosphere for professional aspirations, but that's probably putting it mildly.
Yeah.
But over the course of the first 2 or 3 years I was there, I just kind of the entertainment stuff just faded away. I was just trying to survive more or less.
Yeah.
And we had an opportunity working where we were to kind of be plugged into everything, so you still felt like you were a part of it, but never really did anything on TV or in a movie or anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a blessing or.
Well, I've got the same thing. I went into real estate out of college, and it was 1 week before Lehman Brothers collapsed and the rest of the banking industry. So you look at that as a bad thing, but I'm like, no, the problem is if I hadn't have happened, I might have had like a small amount of success there and then never gotten out of it and done what I did. So I look at it as a blessing in hindsight, but yeah, at the time, not so much. Jordan, what were you pursuing the talent side, or what were you pursuing while you were out here?
Television show Damage Control on MTV. My buddy and I got called in by an executive producer and like, if you guys want to pursue this, you should move to LA. About 6 months to 8 months earlier, we had met Lindsay Lohan, Jason Essex, Jess Schulman, and a group of people. So we kind of became friendly with them. So when it came time to move to LA, when we wanted to make that jump, we gave them a call and they were like, yeah, just move on. Come on out here. So we got thrusted into the limelight, my buddy and I ended up being on the hills right away because I fell into the Laguna Beach crowd. So they were gearing up. And what's so funny is I remember being in high school watching Laguna Beach and everybody going crazy about it. Fast forward 2.5 years later, I'm in Los Angeles now, sitting down with MTV psychiatrists talking to me, being like, hey, you're about to be famous. I'm 19, 20 years old. I'm from North Carolina. I have no idea, right? I felt like the keys were handed to me right out the gate.
Yeah.
And then, that played out, and then boom, it's been 20 years of struggle trying to climb your way back up. But that's great. I got a taste of it. But also during that time, I realized that being in front of the camera wasn't something I was really interested in. I'm a creative person through and through. I like, everybody says I'm the, what we could do guy. So that's what I'm always doing. So creating was way more appealing to me. So I kind of, we worked through the industry, created a bunch of things over the years, and literally how we ended up at Lightheaded. We were just having a Christmas tree contest, and we said, we could put a helmet on top of the Christmas tree and illuminate it. And that's how it happened.
So, and we will definitely want to get there. So I'm curious, just real quick on the in front of the camera, because you talked about MTV psychiatrist. Was it kind of a, lack of a better word, mindfuck getting on that and doing all that, like just hitting that early?
A little bit. I definitely am proud of how I was raised. I grew up in the church, and I just had a pretty strong moral compass to me. So luckily, I didn't fall by the wayside of drugs and all the things that Los Angeles presents to especially a 20-year-old, a 21-year-old, a young. So I definitely am thankful. And also the group of friends that I surrounded myself by, I quickly realized, like, you're lucky to have 5 close friends in Los Angeles. So it was like finding the right people, and same thing with starting a company. Your company is only successful as the people you have working there. So it's the same thing with your friend group, right? You just want to find good people and then keep them close.
Yep.
I was lucky for that.
Awesome. And so you guys are working at a restaurant together. Take me from there. Like, what did you starting businesses and start going?
Jordan's earlier point, it was a struggle. Jordan came up with the idea. I had a mini Ohio State helmet, and we had a Christmas tree decorating contest, and he looked at it and he said, it would be a cool idea if you could, light up your favorite sports teams and put it on top of the tree. That actually is a really good idea. So we built the first one out of wire. I mean,
paper mache,
spray paint, Christmas lights on the inside. I mean, it was not pretty.
Yeah.
But we believed in the idea. So Jordan went a little farther down the road and got some clear helmet shells and some globes and was like, how can we do this? And really figured it out through trial and error, as so many people do that are starting something. And
you know what we could do.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly right. And we took it. Well, I want to stop there. Jordan took an earlier version of the helmet to Shark Tank, to your earlier point. It's like,
I took that paper mache thing, and I remember waiting in this long line thinking, like, this is going to be the day. This is it. And I had connections with a casting director there. So it came in, and I was basically pulled aside, and they said, listen, this is, in theory, this is a great idea. If you take this product in this room, they're going to destroy you. And I was like, okay, yeah, I get it. I understand. I have no sales. I mean, this is paper mache, barely duct tape, stand together kind of thing. So yeah, they, that was, but it was a learning lesson. It almost validated in my mind hearing an executive. I knew it was a good idea, but hearing it, I think it was an executive producer there say, look, this is a good idea. Sports fans will love this. You just have to, develop this way. You're really green in the process.
And so you chose to not go in and pitch that, just to be clear?
Yeah, they didn't even allow me to go.
Oh, got it. Okay.
They
could have made great TV.
Right, they gave me the choice. And at that moment, I was like, yeah, I don't want to go in there and just, like, my foot forward.
So frustrated, which, could describe a period of 10 years for us.
This was 2011, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Got it. Okay. Yeah. Were you working at Geisha House when you guys were developing this? Was it still that gig? Okay, cool.
Went to the sports licensing and tailgate show. Jordan continued to build out the prototypes. And we got to a point where we felt like, all right, this is a respectable prototype that showcases what the product is. Let's go test the waters and see if people think this is as cool as we do. Because everybody we showed the product to was like, oh, I'd love one of those. I'd love, can you get me a fill in the blank with your favorite sports team? Mm-hmm. So we took it there, and the demand was just about what we expected. It was incredible. So we leave there, and we're extremely excited. Yes, we're going to kill it. We're going to market. We're going to raise a bunch of money that we need to get off the ground. And it just wasn't in the cards. And it probably was a blessing. I know it was a blessing, because had it worked that time, we weren't experienced or mature enough to probably steward it in a way that allowed it to be all that it could be. And
what were you met with, just for, like, again, the sake of the audience, like, why weren't you able to get the funding you needed? Like, what was going on in that period?
Yeah, great question. We didn't realize that you can have a really cool idea or product, but people, especially early angel investors, are investing because they believe in the team, that they can get it to market. We didn't have a track record of getting anything to market, and especially a hardline good like this. Usually they want to see some sort of traction. And even, later, fast forward 10 years later, we still got met with the same resistance from a lot of VCs. Were like, this is really cool idea, but ideally we'd like to see you have some sales, go out there and just put any product in the market. And we were like, no, we're not going to put something out there that we're not proud of, number one. Yeah. And number two, we knew the demand, and we were preparing. It was like giving birth to a 5-year-old. So it wasn't a typical startup where we were looking for traction or demand. We know that it was there. So Jordan and I had been thinking about this. How can we position ourselves to meet the demand when we hit go? But yeah, we really didn't do a fundraising problem. We couldn't find the right people. There were a few people that were interested, but we didn't have the team ready to go to market at that point. So really it sat kind of
dormant,
smoldering, if you will, for
8 years. 8 years.
Okay, so what did you guys do during that 8-year period?
I moved to Texas, had a bunch of kids, and got married.
Everyone does.
Yeah,
In that order?
and did.
What took you to Texas?
My twin brother was here. He was working on a hunting ranch, and then ended up he's at Valero. But I wanted to be near him and raise a family, so I moved here and met my wife, and started a family, and it's been a great place.
Yeah,
really, we feel blessed.
Where in Texas?
Just west of San Antonio in the Hill Country.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
so we're probably 25 to 35 miles away from where all the major flooding happened.
Oh, got it. Shoot.
Yeah. So it was a hard couple of weeks. Well, still hard for a lot of people there, but moved here and was in development, fundraising, went back to school. I thought the Lord was calling me to ministry, so I went to seminary, and he kind of closed that door or opened another one, and it all led us to right where we are. So frustrated, but trusting the process. And Jordan was in Los Angeles, and it wasn't like we just let this die. I mean, we always believed in it, and finally I got to the point where, how long ago was it?
I think it was the November 2023, the end of the year. He called me and was like, hey, we were just talking, catching up. And he was like, in my work that I'm doing now with fundraising, I think I know the people I could bring Lightheaded to. Why don't we pick the book back up and open it and like start working on it again? And so that's what we did. And even since then, we've gone through,
never goes away.
Right.
The roller coaster does not end. And what were you doing during those 8 years, Jordan?
When Josh left Geisha, I got another bartending waiting table job. I had started working with my other buddy. We making some movies. We made a movie called Dumbbells and made a movie called, earlier we made a movie called Two Dudes and Dream. But during that time, we made a movie called Be Like Trees, which is on YouTube. And we kind of put our heart and soul into that. I started a company called first Canvas Assassins, which was an art business. And then I morphed into Wall Kicks, which essentially I just made painted giant sneakers on wood, cutting them out and put them on a wall. My wife now, she had gone back to school in Columbia and in New York, and she got back. And as soon as she got back, she went back 6 months, and I proposed. We got married. But Wall Kicks was like the first time where I felt like I did something that it worked. And it worked in a way where I would hear cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching on my phone. Then that brought a whole nother type of problem where now I ended up being this, in logistics, shipping and fulfillment every day. And I remember there were times where my wife and we would be on multiple FaceTime calls with people like customers. Well, how do you get this thing to light? Well, you plug it in the wall. But you just I poured myself into that. And I realized, wow, the customer service aspect of a company is so important, just from picking up a phone call, who you get on the, getting somebody on the phone. So that, I felt like everything has led to this. I've learned so many lessons along the way. And like I said, Wall Kicks made me realize like, oh, it's possible. I can take something from just a thought in my brain to people are actually purchasing it. And then, like I said, we jumped to the end of 2023. And obviously the pandemic happened. That pandemic we did a lot of painting. I was doing a lot of painting. And like I said, end of 2023, we reignited this flame, and we've been off to the races ever since.
And Josh, you mentioned, or Jordan mentioned, that you were working with some investors. What were you doing professionally that had that happen?
Yeah, so I was in development, in charge of fundraising first for the Red Cross in Central South and West Texas. So I was working with a lot of oil and gas companies, HEB, James Avery, around disaster fundraising. So I did that for 3.5 years, and then thought that I was going to plant a church, and God kind of closed that door and opened another door where I was working with a conservative youth organization for the last several years and in charge of fundraising in all of Texas and Oklahoma. So I got a chance to meet a ton of people, especially in our area. And I felt confident in my ability to get to the right person and be able to at least share the idea with someone who I had a relationship with, which is, huge.
Yeah.
It's all about networking. And come to find out, my experience in development and fundraising didn't equate success fundraising for our startup. It was, again, we were met with, well, yeah, it's a great idea, but we want to see sales first. We want to see traction. We want to see, you guys have everything built out a little bit more. And we heard time and time again, well, you got a great idea, but you really don't have a company. And Jordan and I are like, screw you guys. What do you mean? And so we thought we were really, really close to going to market where we were at that time.
Yeah.
Looking back,
oh my gosh,
I mean, we weren't even close.
Yeah.
We did have an idea. We knew kind of how to make it. We had a pretty good idea of what we were going to do with marketing and how we were going to sell it, but we had no clue all of the little details that go into the 1 million things that you have to prepare for.
Yeah.
Ready to launch a product from basically nothing.
So in hindsight, do you blame those people that were like, we're not sure, like we want to see you get there? Because
no, I understood where they were coming from. And I heard the same thing across all of the venture capital, firms that I talked to. They were all saying, it's just, number one, valuations too high. Number two, you guys haven't went to market. 3, we don't invest this early. Even VCs who were like, early pre-seed investors, they were like, no. So we quickly realized we were going to have to pivot to a close relationship, an angel investor. And Jordan, one of his previous investors, he was like, I think this might be the right guy. And sure enough, we went back to Sports Licensing and Tailgate show in January, and we had letters of intent for probably 50,000 helmets. And they were, I would say, the demand for custom helmets via the corporate side, via, Anheuser-Busch or whomever, probably eclipsed the demand on the college football side.
Right.
Which we'd seen before, but not to this extent. And I think it really showcased that not only are sports fans hungry for something new and innovative, but companies are hungry for something new and innovative, regardless of what the product line is.
Right.
Yeah.
You can only put your logo on a keychain or a hoodie or a hat so many times,
When 50,000 units, what's the cost per unit, give or take? Like, how much revenue did you guys have LOI'd at that point?
So the projections for that were, we had increased. So we were right around probably 2.5 million in projected revenue.
Yep.
But the one thing we kept hearing was your price point's too low. Price point's too low. And we're like, really? I mean,
not an uncommon piece of feedback. I've given that, we have it fun too. Not an uncommon piece of feedback, because you're like, you don't want to start low and set the value at that place.
Right. We trusted, and we had a group of advisors who had, exited founders and people who had started companies and were successful. And they guided us along the way. I would, Jordan and I always say we'd love to take credit for where we're at. We work hard and take the next step, but we've been incredibly blessed to have some people around us that know what they're doing. And we've just listened to them. We're like, we trust you. They said there was a guy early on who wanted to invest like over $1 million. And they were like, our advisors said, nah, that's not the guy. If you go down this route, the company will fail.
Yeah. And that's hard hearing that after, back up to 2011, we're like, but we have money on the table. We can, it was tough, but I just felt like every step of the way, we've just been almost protected in a way. We were just being protected until the moment.
We had one VC that wanted to take 100% of the company, and we were like, give you whatever you want, but you can earn back, a handful of percentage points and buy back. And I was like, should we? We seriously considered it. I mean,
you have to in your situation, but it's like, good advice. Like when these VCs are getting that creative, there's something wrong. Like it should be easy and straightforward.
Yeah.
Like no bullshit. If there's bullshit, there's always going to be bullshit.
Right.
That's fair. So you guys went back to the show, got a ton of interest. You had this idea to go back to your old investor. Was he at the show or?
He wasn't at the show, but as soon as we left there, we called him.
Yeah.
He was my investor in wall kicks.
Yeah.
Which, he could see like, oh, people want this, people are buying this. So yeah, I had told him about this back in probably 2018 or 19. I mentioned, hey, I have this company called Lightheaded that I think could be a good fit. And he was at the time, he it perked his ears, but he was like, well, let's knock this out of the park. Let's, because we were into the wall kicks. So yeah, we called him right afterwards. And I mean, he literally was just like, I'm in. Like, it was just, I'm in. Let's sit down. Let's talk about it. And so, yeah, over the course, that was the end of January. And I think we were fully funded by beginning of April.
Nice.
Yeah, we thought we were like, oh, he's in. Perfect. It's the end of January. We'll be fully funded by mid-February.
Yeah.
Not the case.
Then the lawyers get involved.
Yeah.
So we're sending, and redlining documents and going back and forth. But I will say that waiting and finding the right partner was well worth it because, we had kept the majority control of the company, governance, equity. So we're able to hold on to more of the company and maintain control. And our investor is one of those, he's fully supportive, excited about what we're doing, believes in us, is willing to help and do whatever. And he's also doesn't want us to be undercapitalized to miss out on opportunities that are in front of us. So knowing that he has our back is a huge weight lifted off. Now I take that weight back on probably every other day, put it on your shoulders, and then you get some good news and it goes away. But we've also been very blessed with the team that's come about.
Well, as someone 12 years into building a business, I can tell you that roller coaster doesn't end. Even because the problem is your targets get bigger too. Even if it's like all these things you're doing with now, the numbers get bigger, the zeros get bigger, but you're still, if you're ambitious, you're still going to miss, certain things, and it's still going to cause that up and down, but it's part of it. You got this money you guys mentioned. And so were you able to get 50,000 orders? Like, what happened next on that?
We had to basically start from scratch. So the contract manufacturer that we were going to partner with in Southern California wasn't able to give us what we needed in order to move forward with, purchasing additional tools, creating and automating a line, purchasing robots. A lot of this stuff was coming from overseas, and they just weren't very transparent in what they were presenting. And it kind of, made the hair on the back of our neck stand up, where it was like, these are some red flags. These aren't, we're not asking for things that are outside the normal scope of what other people would request. And at that time, we were introduced to John Bradshaw, who's our chief supply chain officer.
I was just about to say.
And he confirmed what we were thinking. And he said, no, guys, I mean, you're asking for a bill of materials this is not complicated stuff that there's a reason why they're not giving this to us. And we were worried that we just worked 35 years to raise this money, and here we could write one check and not have any recourse if they just decided to steal it. Basically, we weren't willing to do that. So again, we were forced to start over, and we basically had to start from scratch because we were looking at everything's in line. We hit, go submit purchase orders, buy the machines, retrofit the facility for production, and we're off to the races. No.
It was a true rebuild. Logo, refresh, everything. And then also figuring out roles, right? At this point, we were just kind of co-founders. And during that time, obviously, bringing on John Bradshaw, you don't get higher than that guy as far as chief supply chain officer. I mean, the guy is just salt of the earth. He's the absolute best. Has 40 plus years of experience in this.
Oh yeah, I mean, he was with Compaq and Dell, and I mean, he's forgot more than most people know. So
Godiva.
Usually, when you saw John, it was to right the ship. Something was going wrong, and he would come in to rebuild things from the ground up. We've been blessed to have him right from the very get-go, where he's designing our supply chain and having conversations to be able to crawl, walk, run.
Right.
You know, quickly realizing that the demand's great, but if you can't meet the demand, it's almost as bad as not having any.
And also during that time too, you know, one thing that I've struggled with in the past was I felt like, you know, when it's your idea, you want to be in like control, right? It's like, no, I want to lead this. And I felt over the years those reins starting to loosen in my hands because I just wanted to do what I do best, and that's create and help market and do things like that. So while we were building out the team, I just had been watching Josh in conversations with lawyers and, you know, different people. And I would hang up and I'm like, man, Josh was speaking to these lawyers and they were listening to him. He was correcting them on things that they should know. And
that's always so annoying to me is when I'm on the phone with lawyers and I'm like, wait, no, don't do that. Like, do this.
Right.
It's like, but you're supposed to be the expert here.
Exactly.
But
and,
good to have that person that can do that.
Right. And maybe it was all those Suits, years of watching Suits.
Exactly.
I literally, one day I just picked up the phone and I called him. I said, hey, you're the CEO of this company. I don't think we need to go find a CEO. You are that guy. And he was like, really, you think? And, you know, I mean, he can tell you, and we've been just a rocket ship from there because I felt like, and this is a good lesson. I feel like when you're starting something, as soon as you can fall into your place and know your lane, the sky's the limit. Because if you have two competing forces, it's not going to work. It's eventually fall through. So
they call it zone of genius. Like if you can be in your zone of genius, the amount of power and energy that creates and the ability to run through a wall and all that goes so high. All right. So you got completely rebuilt the company. What came next?
No, I mean, we're pretty close. I mean, from having conversations, and again, it was a real value add for us because John had relationships with people from, you know, his previous roles where he was able to call, you know, the CEO of some packaging company or LED company and have conversations with people that he knew could meet us where we were at and work with us and do an incredible job, but also grow with us. So really, we've been finalizing everything on the supply chain side over the last several months where tools are being made overseas. We tried to get them made here, but the lead times were just much too long. So we had to pivot and actually fire somebody for the first time this morning, which was not fun. I think we both care deeply about people. We care about the business as well, but people first. So when having to do that is not comfortable. Some people may find it very easy. I think if we get to that point, then we probably ought to look ourselves in the mirror and reassess where we're at. But really, it come down to business. I mean, it's lead times were too long, prices were too high, they weren't following through. So we did that. Tools are in process being made. We're building out paint line automation, doing a lot of traveling to meet with suppliers. We were down in Monterey a week or so ago, meeting with
Mexico. You're talking about?
Yep. Nice. So we were looking at the paint line that we're building out, and we were just in Columbus ahead of the Ohio State Texas game.
Were you there?
Yeah, I was.
I watched that game. Great game for you.
I was sitting in the stands, and I'll be 43 in about a week, and I've never been to a college football game, and I'm a huge Buckeye fan.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd never been to a game, and I walked in there and I was like, oh my goodness, we're going to sell a lot of helmets.
Oh yeah. One of my close friends was with me we have a place in Mexico. We were there last week, and he's born and raised Ohio, diehard Buckeye fan. So we delayed our surfing day to watch the game, which I was totally respectful. I'm like, I get it. I didn't go to a good football school, but I went to Arizona, good basketball school, not football school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're design firms up in Columbus, and we're working with a firm called Priority Design, and they've done a lot of stuff for TaylorMade and Nike, and they did the Q collar. And so really they have a team of 75 engineers, and their really go-to is speed, efficiency, and quality. And we took things that we were working on, the ideas that we have, and they've brought those to life. The football helmet and the Formula One helmet, so we're right now just in the process of waiting for those tools and some of the paint stuff to be set up and delivered. We're manufacturing them right here in Texas. out in West Texas, Lubbock. So Texas
Nice.
Tech will
Yep.
be right down the road. And now we get to do what we would consider the fun stuff, which is front of the house, marketing, social media, and we've been very blessed to find a great partner, Hawke Media.
Shameless plug.
You and your team have been incredible. We met with a handful of companies, and the team, Jordan and I had got a chance to meet with Scott a few times. We were like, all right, nobody else has got to meet him. We have to get everybody on a call.
Yeah.
And at the end of the call, they were like, that's our guy.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's just charisma. Like on the phone, you just feel like, you know what? I trust that guy. He's going to do what he's saying. And you just, I don't know, like we heard from so many different companies, and he sold it.
And not just like as the CEO, I work for him, and that's what I want. I'm like, you tell me what you need me to do. Like he, even setting up this podcast, he's like, hey, got great guys are coming on your podcast. I'm like, sounds great. Let's make it happen. Like I trust him too, because he's earned that trust. Like he's just a great, lucky to have him.
And it took some stress off of us, because for the first time we weren't meeting with someone that was like, well, we could do this. He's like, I know what we need to do. He's like, I have the first, 7 plays of the game mapped out. Right. We're going to execute this, this, and this. And I have the team. And then to hear that you guys had, people on your team who specialize in a certain area, and that these people were proactively seeking Scott out to want to be part of this. Yeah. To us, that's just as important, because they're excited about it. And it's going to be a lot of fun.
No, the fantasy football stuff happening.
No one knows about it.
Yeah. No, it's going to be a blast.
To have it be a megaphone for your product.
Yep. Which is verbatim what I try to tell people is when you have a great product, we're the megaphone. So that's perfect. And so what do you guys envision like down the road here? What does the future look like? Obviously getting it to market, doing all that, but like kind of what's the dream look like?
He's about to say, we could do, and then we're going to go into a whole other about digital displays.
There's so much stuff, but I mean, I don't think I'm ever going to stop creating, but definitely just with Lightheaded specifically, there's so many things I want to do. The helmet, we're rolling out the Formula One NASCAR helmet, Major League batting helmets, or batting helmets, I should say, baseball, goalie mask. There's so many Darth Vader helmets. Like, why wouldn't we, you can go buy Darth Vader helmets. Why not illuminate all these things? So, there's tons of stuff. There's a lot of meat on the bone with Lightheaded, but who knows? We'll probably end up, we're enjoying, we're going to make a little behind the scenes office type show about Lightheaded that we're doing in parallel with rolling out the company. Because just like when I spoke to Wall Kicks, like I felt like when people felt like they knew the brand, the people behind it, sales just started to rocket. So who knows? I have no idea.
There's a term, it's called building publicly, that a few people do now. It's a really cool way to do it.
Oh yeah. I really do believe in our packaging, which is we've really leaned into the premium aspect, and we're working with a company called Smurfit West Rock, and they're huge, and they've worked with a ton of people, and the team over there have just been absolute rock stars. And we're going to have an insert card, and on that insert card it says, welcome to the Lightheaded family, and then right below it says, you're holding the most innovative piece of sports memorabilia ever created. And I really believe that, because all of the sports memorabilia that you see is kind of bland and static, and there's something that happens when you illuminate something, when light comes on.
It's hope. Psychologically, culturally, it's hope. It's that's what it
you can't take your eyes off
energy.
Right. It really is. So it draws people. Still to this day, and we don't have a lot of the helmets around us. They're all over the place. To universities or design firm. So whenever we see one, we're always like, oh, man. We wanted to bring the excitement of game day to someone's house.
Yeah.
And there's not a piece of static memorabilia that does that. This is probably as close, I think, as you can get
from like an authentic game worn something. Like this ball was Tom Brady's last touchdown pass.
Yeah.
yeah, you're going to cherish that forever. We feel the same about an illuminated helmet. I mean, it's just like you said, we're like a Rolex. We're really trying to lean into a premium product.
Yep. Love it. So last question for you guys. You guys really stuck with it. Started in 2011. We're in 2025. It's really starting to gain that traction, but this is, 14 years. What would be your advice to someone else that wants to pursue their dreams that you either wish you heard or did hear to get them to go pursue winning at whatever their game is?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to echo what I've heard from other people, and it really does ring true. And it's the biggest risk that you'll take is not taking a risk on yourself. And I know that Jordan will say this as well, but when we finally, maxed out credit cards or liquidated our entire stock portfolio, I mean, you're all in, and there's a different level of commitment to what you're doing in a feel than you have before, because you can't do this part-time. You have to get to a point where it's like, hey, if you really believe in it, then you're going to have to take some risk. And I think, to our earlier point, there's going to be ups and downs, peaks and valleys. The difference between a lot of the people that you see are successful or companies are people that just didn't quit.
Right.
I mean, that's a surefire way to not succeed.
Yep.
Is just give up. And it's like, if we haven't quit yet, I mean, I don't see us quitting. But we could have quit 1,000 times.
Oh yeah.
We just believed in the product so much, and God's continued to open all the right doors with teammates and partnerships and people coming to us saying, hey, would you guys consider doing this? And like, we're not having to chase down any of these people. They're coming to us, which is a blessing. It really is.
And it's a theme from a movie that I was a part of back in the day, Be Like Trees. Don't get it perfect, get it going, right? So people feel like you have to be so perfect before you can show. You just got to get it going. Perfection's going to come. But if you don't get it going, we're not having this conversation.
That resonates. It's our first core values: get shit done. And the idea is get it out the door, ship it. Like, not always going to be perfect, but good is better than perfect a lot of the times if you can get it done.
Yep.
Yep. Awesome, guys. Well, Josh, Jordan, thank you so much for coming on Hawke Talk.
Of course.
Pleasure. Thank you, Eric. Look forward to meeting you hopefully in a couple weeks.
Yeah.